Hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here today with you to present my research paper on a systematic study on improving the effectiveness of online learning through a smart learning dashboard algorithm. I am Dr. Shaima Alharmoodi from Hamdan Mohamed Smart University from Dubai, and I'm very happy to be sharing the insights of this research paper today. As we know, the traditional educational institutions like elementary schools, high schools, and universities have all tried to shift towards online learning platforms, especially during the epidemic caused by COVID-19. There are certainly many advantages of that shift. So the continuation of education during the pandemic was one of the major advantages in shifting to online learning. However, there are also certainly many limitations to online education systems, and the low course completion rate is one of the most prevailing ones when it comes to limitations. So the low completion rate is in online education is equivalent usually to a dropout in the physical education, and this is what usually happens. So in this research, we have analyzed the reasons for low completion rate and discovered the factors that influence it, and designed an innovative smart learning dashboard algorithm to increase the course completion rates. So the main aim of this study and the proposed algorithm is to increase the effectiveness of online learning platforms by increasing the course completion rate and integrated with the e-learning dashboards. So the core contribution of the proposed algorithms would be the analysis of the goals of the students in e-learning platforms to understand their behavior, discovering the factors that govern the course completion rate and categorizing them into on their prominence as well. The study of the design criteria to design a smart learning dashboard algorithm and design of that algorithm as well, increasing the completion rate by applying the smart learning dashboard algorithm. Of course, we have looked at the existing literature review, and there is abundance of literature that looked at online education, especially after the pandemic during 2022. So all of the research paper agreed that online education is equally important as the traditional offline education because it makes the education system more dynamic and it allows many options for learners. They can attend online classes from anywhere regardless of their geographical boundaries, so it really gives them that flexibility and accessibility to education. It also gives the flexibility of the self-paced learning because people are different and they have different ways of grasping education and learning. So the online education, due to its self-paced nature, it also became popular. However, this flexibility has also led to the limitation of the low course completion rate. This is what we have observed. Despite the numerous advantages of online education, that low completion rate is usually pointing fingers at its effectiveness. So various research has been conducted and published to increase that completion rate. For instance, Ma and his colleagues developed a model for improving teachers' online completion rate. They developed a model from two perspectives: the general influencing factors and the teacher's specific influencing factors. Their methodology, of course, it is effective. Other researchers also studied that the dashboard plays a vital role in keeping the learners engaged in online classes. Many of them proposed different types of dashboard designs to have a better online experience as well. So Kimberling developed a comprehensive learning dashboard for online learning that focuses on the dynamic and the cohesive learning experiences. However, their approach did not include the profession-wise e-learning influencing factors, which are also crucial to identify the reasons behind the low course completion rate. Another researcher like Yang studied the attention spanning detection tool for e-learning, which is really important. It is a self-assessment based approach that helps identify and solve the attention span related changes on online learning platforms. This proposed methodology that we are working on also uses that attention span as one of the factors, along with 4 other factors. So we are really thinking that through the algorithm that we are developing, more effective online learning is going to happen, which will increase the course completion rate as well. How did we do it? The methodology. We have taken 4 approaches. The first one is the goal analysis approach. So the first step is designing a smart learning dashboard for online learning platforms through understanding the learner's goals. So the online learning platforms are usually open for anyone. Anyone from any background can enroll in any course, which makes it challenging to understand the goals of the learners. So we conducted an online survey where 754 individuals responded, and these participants were enrolled at least in one online course. The purpose of this survey is to analyze the participants' goal for enrolling in such online courses. The participant responses have been illustrated in this diagram, in this figure. It indicates that the goals of attending online courses are influenced by the professions of the learners, and the learners attend the online courses out of interest and for employment opportunities. Service holders look for career development and self-development. They also attend online courses out of interest. Most businessmen take online courses out of curiosity and for self-development as well. And the figure shows that freelancers attend online courses for self-development and curiosity. Most of unemployed people try to prepare themselves for employment through these online courses. So these are the main goals for attending these online courses. Then we use the course completion factor analysis. Our survey shows that the course completion rate increases with time duration. The data shows that the completion rate is 4% only for the first 15 days. It increases to 13% and becomes 17% after 30 days. And then the completion rate is 22% after 55 days. And it is 35% after 60 days. So the average course completion rate in 6 months is usually 38%. This means that 62% of the students do not complete their courses in online learning platforms. So from these observations, we investigated that the course completion factor analysis. The first 5 factors are usually positive, and the other 5 are usually negative. When we say positive factors, we refer to what influenced the learners to complete the online course, while the negative, these are the reasons students leave without completing the course. So out of 754 participants, 704 mentioned these factors. So it's around 93.45% of individuals that took part in the survey. The remaining 6.5% included several other factors along with these factors. So here, the next slide, we have considered these as the prominent factors, which are self-motivation, teachers' requirement, employers' pressure, project demand, market demand. These are the 5 positive factors. The negative factors are hesitation, poor content, dissatisfaction, distraction, and loss of motivation. And you can see that the numbers vary according to the profession or the background of those who attend these courses, like students, service holders, businessmen, freelancers, and unemployed people, as we discussed. So based on this factor analysis, we have also designed the criteria analysis. The design criteria has developed using the results obtained from that factor analysis. So we figured out that self-motivation, market demand, poor content, dissatisfaction, and distraction are the factors and indicators that we used in the design criteria selection. The target for us is to increase the self-motivation, highlight market demand, avoid poor content, of course, and decrease dissatisfaction, avoid distraction. So the poor content usually depends on the course content creator. Of course, an active and very strict editorial board is essential to evaluate the courses before publishing to avoid the poor content. Even a good quality content can usually dissatisfy learners because of the nature of different learners. They have different learning capabilities and preferences. So this is beyond the scope of any editorial board to ensure that a course satisfies everyone. So that is why the design criteria to decrease the dissatisfaction is to give the learners the ownership to maintain the quality of the course. They can give feedback of the course whenever they prefer, and then the instructors can quickly actually develop and enhance the course based on their feedback and input. That's very important when it comes to online education. Losing attention and motivation are also natural to any human being. The target of the design proposed in this paper is to increase the self-motivation. So how do we do that? Through motivational quotes. They are a great way to stretch the attention span and keep the learners engaged for a longer time. So when they pause for the session in progress and leave when they lose motivation, whenever they pause, a JavaScript event is activated. Based on that event, the proposed dashboard shows motivational quotes that can increase the self-motivation of the learners. One of the factors that also influence the course completion rate is market demand. That's why in the proposed Smart Learning dashboard, we propose that the dashboard shows the recent market demand information and associated, let's say, yearly payment for pupils and experts in this current course. So when they pause or exit from the full screen mode, the dashboard embeds the related job description with the yearly salary on the video without blocking any portion of the learning material. This can also increase student engagement and the course completion rate. Also, the JavaScript events can track the activities of the learners, count the number of tabs they are opening, and the ideal time duration of each tab. And of course, we are not expecting to have 100% avoidance. However, the design criteria can allow them to remain distracted for only a short period of time. After that, they receive notification with opportunities that they can avail if they complete the course. This figure illustrates the self-motivation, the teacher's requirement, employers' pressure, projects demand, market demands, and what are the impact variation of the course completion factors to each one of the studied stakeholders. The algorithm then that we have developed, thankfully to also my co-author, the algorithm fulfills the target of the design criteria method and target using an algorithm. We have named it the SLD algorithm. The algorithm requires permission from the learners to store the data as cookies and use them to increase self-motivation, highlight the market demand and avoid the poor content, decrease the dissatisfaction, and avoid the distraction, which has been presented as this algorithm that you see in front of you. The results based on running this algorithm, which was implemented using JavaScript PHP and MySQL. It has been tested using 4 web browsers, as you see here: Google Chrome, Firefox, Opera, and others. The function performs smoothly, and the time variations, as you can see, among different browsers are negligible. The technical performance measured in milliseconds, as you can see in this table. It shows the performance of the LCD algorithm that overlaps with different browsers, and there is no functional failures. So it works well with different browsers. The experimental evaluation of the algorithm was conducted from the response of only 32 participants, although 764 participants enrolled in a particular online course, and they were actually approached. So only 32 shared their experiences, the completion rate before and after applying this SDL algorithm. An average improvement of 19.25%, 14%, 22.25%, 6.5%, and 10.5% of the students, service holder, businessmen, freelancers, and unemployed categories has been observed, which means on average the course completion rate was improved by 14.5% when the algorithm was applied and used. Of course, there are different limitations also to this research. For instance, there is the participant limitation. The most crucial limitation of the study is the experimentation. Of course, it requires thousands of observations to properly evaluate a dashboard. Of course, this was beyond the scope of this experiment, but we can actually in future studies target larger participants as well. The reverse effect analysis is another, the absence of it is another limitation. It may happen that a learner pauses the course to take notes or to do some brainstorming. However, the proposed dashboard does not have enough intelligence to understand that behavioral pattern of the learners. So a pattern-based machine learning algorithm can overcome this limitation in future studies. Gender-based analysis also is another future actually study. The survey that is done here was not gender specific, so I think it is really important and interesting to see the gender differences when it comes to completion rate as well. The results also and analysis presented in this study are based on the online learning platforms. It can also be applied on handheld mobile devices, and this is another area that can be explored in the future. So to conclude our study, we would say that online education is part of the mainstream education now. The diversity, the global accessibility, it fuels the popularity of this new norm of education. However, when it comes to the completion rate, it becomes a challenge, and more studies are of course required to look at how we can enhance and improve the completion rate. When we have 62% of learners that are not completing the online courses, it means that we have 60% of dropout when we compare it to conventional education. So it's really important that we look at the completion rate when it comes to online education, and this study is one step towards achieving that goal. And the factors that have been actually pointed out in this study, which are self-motivation, market demand, content quality, learning dissatisfaction, and distraction during learner, should be looked at in different angles in order to understand the factors that also influence the completion rate, along with the smart learning dashboards and how we can improve the experience of learners through the smart learning dashboard in order to have a better completion rate and hopefully a better experience in online education. Thank you so much for attending my presentation, and I'm very happy to participate in this conference. Here are the list of references that I used to conduct this study. Thank you so much.